Hi guys, what's up? We are back with another podcast this week. It's called Common Sense by Rupeeting, and we have all new guests today. but I hope. So we have Pratik and Chaitanya again for I don't know, million time. So I think this week we're gonna talk about a company which tools are used in road vehicles on the roads and vehicles on the sky as well, which is aircrafts and everything. So it's an interesting company. So they are component makers for automobiles, and now recently as in 2-3 years back, they've also started something very interesting. So with the trend going on in the two-wheelers or four-wheelers industry, the electrification and everything. Mm-hmm. So basically, the company started its business in 1981. And until 1986, they were making very small businesses. Until 1986, they got their big order from their switch company, Maruti Udyog, the only company.
But Shweta, I think I've seen this trend that all the automakers in India usually start with Maruti as their first major client. So I think it happened, the same thing happened with Paterson back in 1900s as well. Their first customer were Maruti, and now you're saying
there was only one company.
And now you're saying this company's first customer is also Maruti.
Yeah, but now they have their customers across the two-wheelers, three-wheelers, TVs, even aircraft. So their companies like Airbus and Boeing are also their customers. So so the company we're talking about is Sansera Engineering.
We extend ये Sansera से ऐसा वो लगता है वो samsara जिन होता है ना, ऐसा थोड़ा लग रहा है. Completely unrelatable.
But okay, so after that journey, starting from Maruti to Aerospace, they are just getting started. I think because they have done a lot of things. So they are predominantly operated in IC engine, which is your internal combustion engine. So, but it is considered as a thing of past now. But the numbers actually are not completely against it as of now, because there are actually 3-4 things which are going in favor of IC engine. So which we're going to talk about today, and also how they are positioning themselves for the trend which is changing to EVs, and also the new segment that they have started of aerospace and defense. So I think back in FY21, almost 80 to 82% of the business, it was from IC engine, and rest I think 15 to 20% was from other parts like EVs and your aircraft and everything. Now that has changed 74%
IC engine.
IC engine, and 25% almost 26% of the other parts. And also they are targeting that they will take the EV part and tech-agnostic, which is what we're going to discuss what it means. But tech-agnostic EV and the aerospace part, they will take it to 40% over the next 3 to 5 years. So it's a well-diversified planning as of now. So in the past they have done it, but it's remained to be seen that how they will go forward. So, but what's driving IC? IC is not declining business for sure. This revenue composition has changed because they have increased their focus on the other business, which is growing like crazy. Again, we're going to discuss in the moment. But IC itself is growing at the pace of I think 15 to 20%, which is not bad at all, considering the industry is growing.
But as you said that ICE engine, as the company is still heavily dependent on ICE engine for its revenues. And I think that is to be there for the foreseeable future, because people are going to take much time to increase their adoption to EVs. Until infrastructure is also at a very nascent stage if you see in our country. So it's going to take time for the people to switch to EVs, and hence these companies which are already starting to shift to EVs, which is a great deal, as in they're getting ready for future, but still for the foreseeable part, at least for the next 2 to 3 years, they'll have to focus on ICE engines to grow their revenues.
But I think what you mentioned, plus there are some other things which are going for component makers, not particularly for automobile makers. For example, there is this trend which is going in the industry, that the original equipment manufacturer, which are your like Heroes and Bajaj and Maruti and all this company. So earlier they had their own small setup or something for the all components manufacturing.
So earlier they used to manufacture the components and assemble it in the cars.
A lot of things to do, right? Since last 20 to 30 years, there's been a single type of engine out there, which is IC engine, and they just have to make cars according to that. So they are like, anyway, we are in this industry, so I don't know. But now what has happened is companies with OEMs, they have to focus on the trend which is changing, the EV. So there's a lot of manpower and financial power going into that. So the OEMs are starting to outsource this kind of component makers to companies like Sansera. So basically that is helping them beating the industry growth rate. For example, the end product, which is your cars or two-wheelers, they're growing at 7 to 8%. These guys can easily grow double of that.
But it's also projected that in the coming 2 years, the auto ancillary companies are supposed to post a growth of around 10 to 15%.
Yeah, exactly. And Sansera is also available. They also do export business as well. So in export, there's an interesting trend. The European market, which is, I think they have pretty much adopted EV very well than India. It's like 50-50 splits there. So yeah,
I was going through the data points. So I think after COVID, specifically European manufacturers, which dominate the car automobile manufacturing, have started increasing their adoption towards EVs, and I think keeping China aside, they are already very ahead in EV. But then if you consider Europe, even they have increased their adoption in EV, and most of the manufacturers now started focusing more on EV components.
So that has forced the old manufacturers, which were manufacturing the parts for IC engine. So that has forced them to shut down their facilities. So ultimately that business has to go somewhere. Of course, it might not be there after 4 years, 5 years, but currently, at least for the next 3 to 5 years, that business is also benefiting Sansera. So these two trends, first OEM outsourcing plus European manufacturers shutting their slowdown. Also, there's this small technical change which is going in the industry, that the components are now shifting towards aluminium products because of it's lightweight, first of all, aluminium. And
I'll just ask you a question. So as you said, they're shifting to aluminium.
Yeah.
So how is Sansera going to benefit from it? I mean, aluminium थोड़ी बनाता होगा.
No, they don't make aluminium, but aluminium needs to be given some shape or kind of thing to forge it, right? So Sansera actually, they kind of foreseen way back in, I think, 2014-15. So they have set up their own aluminium forging facilities in this kind of, so they kind of maybe because of they were in industries from so many times.
दूरदर्शी company
है. So foresight they might have got. So they have set up those facilities there, and now they're benefiting from it because the trend is changing and other manufacturers are catching up from it. These guys are very set to capitalize on this trend. So that is helping, and because aluminium products are considered, they are considered lightweight and more efficient, because the lighter the vehicle, the higher the efficiency.
But that's true, because I think if you go and ask any consumer who is going to purchase a car, उसका main motive तो ये होगा. I think people have now started to focus more on look and feel of the car.
Yeah, exactly.
And so लोगों का वही होता है, यार मैं पैसा दूंगा गाड़ी के लिए, but then I also want that particular look and feel up from the car.
So that's a very good point you brought up, because the industry, as you said, look and feel plus premiumization. So that is shifting towards premiumization, and that is also again a good point for Sansera, because I was reading somewhere, compared to an economy vehicle in any basically 2-wheeler, 3-wheeler or somewhere. So compared to an economy vehicle, a premium vehicle has almost 3 times more component than that, because of the efficiency and all the looks.
Obviously, I'll just give you an example. So I think Mercedes का जो infotainment system होता है, it's go different than all the rest economy cars. So I think what Mahindra has done is, महिंद्रा का भी ऑलमोस्ट अब उनका थोड़ा सिमिलर वे में आ गया है.
एग्जैक्टली.
जो मर्सिडीज का इंफोटेनमेंट सिस्टम है ऑलमोस्ट वेरी सिमिलर टू व्हाट मर्सिडीज हैज नाउ, बट इन द चीपर वर्ड. उनका जो एक्सयूवी और सब है, तो उनके लिए प्रीमियम है, उसमें सेम ऐसा लेके आएगा.
सो दैट नंबर ऑफ प्रोडक्ट इंक्रीजिंग पर vehicle, so that also increases the content value per vehicle. For example, EVs can for Sansera I'm talking about. So Sansera earns close to 3,000 to 5,000 per vehicle in 2-wheeler non-EV. Okay, non-premium economy vehicle. But the same goes to 8 to 9,000 if it's premium two-wheeler. So that almost again 2.5 to 3 times for Sansera.
Kit value उनका बढ़ जाता है.
Yeah. So for ICE engine, OEMs outsourcing, European facilities going off, the aluminum wala trend and the premiumization trend. These 4 things are going well for ICE engine, at least from the near terms. So,
We forgot to talk about what they actually make in the car.
no, but I think, yeah. So that is very, okay. That's embarrassing. But yeah, so it's basically your small components like connecting rods, steerings, and I think
Braking systems.
Yeah, braking system, then gear, shift, forks, very, very small components which are not, I think, visible. It's under the hood in the car. So maybe steering is weaker, of course, thank God. And your crankshaft and all those things. So these are pretty engineering stuff. I think mechanical engineer might be knowing this, but yeah. So these are the kind of things that they make. Basically connecting rods which connects your vehicle to your steerings, which is the most important component. Yeah, no, SNL. Thanks to Sansera. But I think, yeah, so when we talk about the connecting rod, right? So interestingly, that is similar in electric vehicle and two-wheeler. It's not going to change, right? For example, your axis, when we say the vehicle ka axis, it is connected by a connecting rod. So it has to, it is going to be same, right? It's not like electric ka alag hoga, iska alag hoga. It's not going to be.
So basically what you are trying to say is that Sansera एक तो EV में तो घुसा ठीक ही है, but साथ में they have presence in such products which are both in EV and ICE.
And that is called tech-agnostic. Yeah. So the product which can be used in both electric vehicles and ICE engine vehicles, they are called agnostic products. And I think, yeah, so basically that's it. And then they use such products to make, there are also some products which are exclusively for EV and some products which are for both. So that is called the tech-agnostic and EV segment, which I think was around 5%, I think FY 19-20, and now it's, I think, 12%. So it has grown by 60%.
60% CAGR.
Yeah. So I think that has been a very interesting thing company has done, that they have not sitting there at the sideline doing just that IC engine thing, but they also developed this EV segment with the kind of tech-agnostic kind of thing. So I think from 80 crores of revenue, they have gone up to close to 350 crores of revenue in the last 3 years.
4x, 4 to 5x, 4.5x.
And also the company has here also the similar trend, lightweight and looks and everything. So that aluminum wala part also is correct for this segment as well. So that is also going good. And the company has a very strong order book. I think they have 3 times that segment revenue, FY24.
Matlab basically they have their revenues in the range of 900 to 1,000 crores for EV and tech agnostic products.
So 330 crores of the revenue, and their order book is now close to 1,000 crores. Almost 1,000. So that ensures, I think, 40 to 45% of segment growth for the.
And any idea about ICE engine?
ICE engine, it's, I think, 15 to 20%. And I think, to be precise, around 17% growth is forecasted for which is not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
But the final industry uses automobile, it's around 7 to 8%. So compared to that, the segment 17% for IC engine and now 40-45% for EV.
They're also present in two-wheelers, right?
Yeah, so when I say IC engine, it's about two-wheeler cars and everything.
Okay, because I think I was just going through some report. It stated that I think going forward, growth is in the automobile segment for sure, but I think the two-wheeler segment is supposed to take more.
Exactly, because I think it's more like a rural-focused thing. I think they haven't caught up yet. I think now they have. So that's why maybe two-wheeler is going to benefit more. I think two-wheeler also has 30 to 35% of 35 to 40% of total revenue is from two-wheeler.
Achha, okay.
20-25 is passenger vehicles.
So maybe this can be a growth trigger for if the end user market is doing good, so then they'll automatically do
basically good. Third of the revenues come from the rural market ultimately, not fairly, but yeah. So that's about the road, I think, and they got bored, I think, by doing so they're like, let's fly now. So I think they're gonna some Pratik might.
Yes, I'll just talk about what they are doing in the aerospace to take off in the aerospace segment.
Yeah.
So I think the company is also in the aerospace segment, as Chaitanya said, because the company is bored while making components for the road vehicles. So yeah, I think 5% of its revenue it's a very minuscule amount, but still I think it just shows that there is room for growth for them as well. And as you mentioned, they have customers such as Airbus and Boeing, and I think they are the biggest players in the airline industry. The only. So I think
no one else makes CAGR.
And because building those relationships also take a lot of time. So this particular relationship with Boeing and Airbus itself says a lot about their product quality and their finesse in manufacturing.
And also I think one point I would like to mention here is because the product in this kind of aircrafts and airplanes, they are more value accretive. For example, you can't, now of course you know that Boeing screwdrivers are going nuts, but these are also very high price, the high value products. So, for example, 5 products of in the other segment, which is your vehicle segment, that taking your revenue through, let's say, 100 rupees. So these products can easily fetch the same revenue for like 200 to 300 rupees. So these are all. So that's why one reason maybe that to pivot to this sector particularly. And these are also very high precision engineering. So it's not like very simple products. So there also. You have to be particular level of technicality expertise in it. So that also company has done very well, I think, with establishing a relationship with clients like Airbus and Boeing.
Obviously. And I think they have recently had a new aerospace facility in Bangalore, right?
Yeah.
Of which consists of about 10 acres of land. To specify, I think 2/3 is in aerospace and 1/3 is in defense.
And this is, by the way, dedicated facility for aerospace. Earlier, they used to have a part of their existing facility as for aerospace and defense, but now this total factory is different for aerospace.
So, matlab 2/3, I mean 6 to 7 acres is for aerospace and 3 acres is for defense.
Yeah.
Okay, and
I think that also can fetch around 350 crores at full capacity.
Revenue.
Currently, I think it's around 120. I think third of it's occupied, and the rest is, so that's the room for growth.
There is room for growth there.
Yeah.
So, and what is the order book in this segment, if you have any idea?
I think it's about segment revenues 1.5 times. So if I am
110 करोड़ अगर अभी है तो मतलब वही 220 से 250 करोड़ के आसपास.
250 to 300 crores. And this is actually a very, thanks to the low base, it's going to be a very high growth kind of a segment.
Achha.
So this is also maybe 30-35% of CAGR easily for the next 3 to 5 years. And again, these are like value components. So yeah, that's a good thing. And I think defense sector is also gaining because of the all government push and everything.
Yeah, I think that push is going to stay there for a while.
Yeah. As long as there's war in the world. Yeah, so that's about the defense sector. So to sum up, I think good, decent growth in IC, very high growth in EV and tech products, and of course very high growth in aerospace as well. So
yeah, I think they have. It's not that they have reduced focus on ICE engine completely, but it's just that it's a strategic transition is the company is taking from ICE engine to EV engines and tech-agnostic.
So it's a very balanced approach.
It's a very balanced approach which the company has taken. So I think, as you mentioned in the start of the video, that I think first it was above 80% the ICE engine component, and now it is coming around 74%, and I think it will come down to 60 in the coming 3 to 4 years.
Their long-term vision is to take down 50 or below. But in the near term, let's just stick that.
So I think in the next 3 to 4 years, if things pan out the way Sansera expects them to pan out, we can see this.
And also there is one interesting, very small thing about the company.
Okay.
The company owned a stake in a company called MMRFIC, which has some full MMRFIC, which has some full form, but yeah. So they have close to around 22% of stake in this company. And the company recently entered into semiconductor manufacturing. No, sorry, semiconductor packaging manufacturing. So, and Sansera has the right to invest up to 51%. Beginners 21%. Yeah. And I also at a predefined valuation. So it's not like it's gone up to a bumper. Yeah. So they can own a controlling stake in this company, which is into my semiconductor. So that is also another, but it's a very small stake.
Far-fetched idea, but looks promising.
Looks promising. So that's another segment which can, I think, very far in the future can help the company. So yeah, I think they just 10 or 12 days later only they announced that they are gonna enter into this partnership.
तो मतलब to sum up, basically Sansera ना पहले अच्छा नहीं steady growth था.
Yeah.
Going forward in the near future, at least we'll see some super normal growth thanks to the EV order book
and
the defense and aerospace order book
and decent number ICN.
So basically super normal growth we can see.
Yeah. So anything northward of 25% range, yeah, we can see. So yeah, it's an interesting thing to see, and you guys can also look at it.
Yeah, also it's not an investment recommendation, it's just for
education purposes and entertainment if we guys are able to do that. But yes, that's about Sansera. And yeah, that's it. So see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a good one. Bye bye.
Like, share and subscribe.